Hello, my name is Chris Lenski, Grant Specialist with the Wisconsin DPI CTE team. We've created this video to introduce the Non-Traditional Occupations Competitive Grant Opportunity, also referred to as the NTO Grant. As you know, last year we made a significant change to the 2021 NTO Grant implementation. In summary, rather than individual school districts being able to apply, CESAs acting as the fiscal agents for the Regional Career Pathway Collaboratives were targeted as recipients of the NTO grant. It will be the same for the 2021 to 2022 grant. By doing this, funds will be leveraged to regional collaboratives in order to increase student engagement and success in non-traditional occupations that lead to high skill, high wage, and in-demand occupations statewide. Funding for the grant is made available through the Perkins 5 State Leadership Funds. In Perkins 5, NTO refers to occupations in high skill, high wage, and in-demand fields for which individuals from one gender comprise less than 25% of employees. As a result, NTO students have long been categorized as a special population deserving of a particular focus and attention. DPI has determined that the best way to leverage these leadership funds is to provide Regional Career Pathways Collaborative grant recipients through a competitive grant process, funds for the purpose of addressing enrollment in NTO pathways with a focus on equity and access. Recognizing that quality NTO education depends upon community and industry partnerships in order to close the skills and wage gap between traditionally underrepresented groups in NTO, stakeholder engagement in this project is a critical component of the grant. Wisconsin NTO occupations that meet the Perkins definition tend to be in the following pathways. This grant calls on CTE programs to evaluate data and engage stakeholders in a root cause analysis discussion to identify possible barriers that contribute to underrepresented gender groups within an occupation or field. Recipients of the grant are then tasked with developing initiatives to remove those barriers in a way that results in successful completion of training by all students. CESA agencies that are fiscal agents for Regional Career Pathway Collaboratives are ideally positioned to engage multiple stakeholders, including local education agencies and community and industry partners, to close the training, skills, and wage gaps between the underrepresented gender groups within a region. This grant supplements activities already being conducted under the Perkins Regional Career Pathways Collaborative Grant related to NTO and not replace funding that may already be targeted for similar activities. Examples of allowable activities include but are not limited to training, such as developing or conducting training for school district personnel and local partners on awareness, outreach, or engagement techniques and strategies. Contracting, such as hiring outside experts to help lead the work in this area for the region. Train the trainer or other similar initiatives or for the evaluation of the program. Purchases for the development of NTO resource materials for use by the regional collaboratives and stakeholders. Outreach to stakeholders, such as communication through meetings, open house activities, or promotion of NTO pathways in a way that is appealing to middle and secondary education students. Identification of strategies and promising practices related to student access and successful outcomes in NTO fields, such as student support systems, resources, or programs. Facilitation of curriculum development that meets the needs of local NTO students. and evaluation of the NTO Grant Initiative being implemented. Example of activities that are not allowed include funding that might replace NTO initiatives already targeted for use of Perkins Funds formula in the region, subgrants to local school districts or other entities for one-time activities, or equipment purchases. Agencies may apply for funds for their NTO initiative ranging from a minimum of $4,000 to a maximum of $7,000. Two CESAs may also apply as a consortium for funds up to $10,000 maximum. The grant is for the period of July 1st to June 30th the following year, and the timeline is outlined here. Applications are due Monday, May 31st, and we anticipate notifying agencies in early July, if not sooner. We hope to award 4 to 7 agencies. To prepare for the application, you'll want to pay attention to 2 documents posted to the CTE NTO Grant webpage: the grant guidance document and the application. First, you will want to read through the grant guidance document before doing anything with the application. This document provides the background of the grant and explanations for each section of the application and what must be included. You will note that the layout models the DPI continuous improvement process and may resemble other DPI grants that you've applied for recently. The last page lays out the reviewer rubric that will be used to score each section of the application. The rubric shows how each section of the application will be scored from 0 to 4. A score of 0, for example, may reflect a question that is not answered. On the other hand, a score of 4 reflects an exemplary response that is clear and detailed, related to analysis goals and alignment of student outcomes. The second document is the application. Once received, the application will be assessed to make sure that all questions have been answered. Only fully completed applications, this includes the first page and required signatures, will be forwarded on to reviewers. Responses are limited to the space provided. Be careful not to overlook the amount of funds requested and the abstract of your proposal. We'll briefly go over each section now. First is the demonstration of need. Applicants must have an organized and systematic approach to use data for meaningful analysis. Data analysis includes an assessment of the gaps being experienced related to NTO in the region. So to identify the overall NTO needs to be addressed by the grant project and identify the supporting data that is being used to determine that there is a need. The student outcome priority statement. This is where you will indicate the needs identified and what you hope to accomplish. You will want to reference the supporting data used to determine the need. Applicants may identify up to 2 student outcome priority statements. As part of your response, you will be asked to explain the root cause of the discrepancy or gap in your data. For example, through discussions, you may determine that bias on the part of some school personnel and family attitudes related to female participation in manufacturing has contributed to a very low number of females entering the manufacturing pathway. Due to this bias, it's been difficult to even begin to engage females in learning about the pathway in a way that encourages their participation in it. The template will provide you, a template will be provided to you to describe your action plan for each student outcome priority statement. The plan must include a SMART goal for the priority statement. A SMART goal is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. And then lay out the action steps to achieve the SMART goal, including the time frame, evidence that the action step has been completed, and the person who is responsible. So in the chart, you will restate the student outcome priority statement. You will then type in your goal to meet the need and each action step that will be taken to meet the goal. As you can see, action steps must include a time frame for completion. The practice priority statement explains what you hope to accomplish related to change in adult or system practices. The next section is related to the study check aspect of the grant. Here, you describe the continuous improvement process the project will employ to refine, improve, and strengthen the project if needed. So in evaluating the project through the lens of continuous improvement, what is the process you'll use to analyze project outcomes and NTO-related data? And should that data indicate a need to adjust your action steps, what will the process look like? The readiness section focuses on stakeholders and your communication structure. Who are the stakeholders you engaged, and what will their roles be moving forward? What is your communication structure or your procedures for communicating about the grant project goals, activities, progress, and outcomes to both internal and external stakeholders? As with your Perkins Regional Career Pathways grant, you will be asked to submit a budget that includes both detail and a summary of spending that is aligned with the Wisconsin Uniform Financial Accounting Requirements, or WUFR. The submission deadline of 11:59 p.m. on May 31st. Be aware that this is Memorial Day, so you may want to set your own goal as Friday the 28th, just to make sure that there are no last-minute glitches on that Monday, as no extensions will be granted. Applications received will be reviewed by CTE team consultants and leadership. Notification of awards will be sent out no later than mid-July. I'm very excited about the opportunity that this grant provides in moving NTO forward for students through the work being undertaken by the RCP collaboratives. We look forward to reviewing your applications and feel free to contact me directly with questions. That concludes the presentation.